This is our 19th International Conference of the World Association for Sustainable Development. And I welcome you all. I know it is good morning, maybe for us here in the United Kingdom and all this in Europe. It's good evening in other places like Indonesia. And I think somewhere in the middle, like North Africa, countries in Africa, I think it's almost getting to 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or it's afternoon. In Middle East, I think it's almost 4 hours. And I think this is what we have seen over the last 2 years when we have been excessively using online communication tools like this. We start to understand how far we are, like in New Zealand now, Australia, it's too late there, in India and other places. In America, I think our colleague from America, high likely they are sleeping now. They will catch up around 4 o'clock here, UK time. So I warmly welcome you to our 19th International Conference. We started these conferences a long time ago, since 1999. And at that time, this initiative started for one particular purpose, is to bring multidisciplinary, if you like, approaches to solve the problem of sustainable development. At the time we started working on this issue, people were working in silos. Those from the business school, those medical schools, engineering, each one of them is working without interacting and coming closer to the other side of his own other disciplines. So the call, when we made the call in London, at that time at the University of East London, back in 1999, 2000 in particular, where we started. But in 1999 in Edinburgh, we said we have to work together so we can understand the problems of the whole world and how can we solve them. Although I was, and I'm still in a business school, but we brought together people from engineering, people from ICT, people from public health, people from Westminster, Dr. Rehab Tawfiq and all his team and others. And then we start working together. And what we managed at the start of our conversation is that to make clearer, sustainable development is not just about CO2 emission, it's not about the environment, but it's about everything. And we brought political science, and I pay a tribute to one of our founders who died 5 years ago, Professor Conry Mosia from Maryland University. He's a distinguished political scientist. He also brought that part of political science to the debate. And then we started working our way through this journey. But the journey has been extremely difficult because number one, in terms of academia, we need to prove the concepts. Because when it comes to academia, publication, and so on, people will say about the concept, the theory, what is the body of knowledge. And we said to people, there is no body of knowledge of people how work together, but we need to work together. So it took us time to bring people from professors of marketing. Also, I here pay full tribute to one of the founders, Professor Solina Wankwa, one of the key, I think he is one of the first people in the Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK. So people who specialize in marketing, then entrepreneurship, and so on and so on. So to bring all these people and then they start to publish their work together was a very big challenge. So we had to start creating different journals with mainstream, science, technology, and sustainable development, entrepreneurship, management, and sustainable development, and so on and so on. And then we have the public health and so on. Two specific regions of the world, I'm not saying got more attention than other parts of the world, but I always have to explain this. We had an initiative started in 2012, which is called the Middle Eastern Knowledge Economy Institute. That was a direct result of the request by many Gulf countries where they have been starting a very successful journey of transforming their economies from oil-based into knowledge-based. And I will also pay full attention here to the United Arab Emirates, which is the leading country, not only in that part of the world, but across the whole developing countries, moving away from oil into knowledge. So we have to put more attention on that. More of those countries in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and so on, this is their aspiration. And I have been in most of these countries. Then we have to give another big attention, which I'm very pleased the United Nations recognize it fully, which is the diaspora. And the diaspora itself as a term was very difficult to define, but in simple terms, I always say the diaspora is someone called Allam Ahmed. He originally Sudanese, born in Sudan, He is in the UK, he's a British citizen, he's working and he lived half of his life here. He knows, I'm not saying much better, but he knows what are the real challenges in Africa. I wouldn't know the issues in Africa, being living in the UK for 30 years, the same or better than people like Professor Joseph Natai from Uganda, or people from Sudan or Algeria, but at least I have the know-how of the culture there. So we said those people who are British, American, Canadian, but originally they are from other countries, particularly the developing countries. The United Nations, the European Union, our own government here should utilize them more effectively to help the development efforts by OCDs and United Nations and all these countries in these countries. So that's where we have created this project with the UNESCO back in 2008. I also pay great attribution here to Dr. Al-Tayyib from UNESCO. He was the director of UNESCO for Science, Technology, and Sustainability. And we launched this project called the International Diaspora Project, where we said we need to bring the expertise of those who are British, American, Canadian, whatever, but they are originally from Uganda, Sudan, Tanzania, Egypt, Syria, and so on and so on. And just to give you an example, the largest number of doctors in this country in the UK are Indians and Sudanese. So imagine we have thousands of Sudanese consultants leading hospitals in the United Kingdom. Imagine how much experience they have gained and they can do when they are helping Africa, for example, because whatever in Sudan is can also be. So these two projects are become more of independent projects, but they are part of the World Association for Sustainable Development efforts to work together. I really don't like to spend too much time on the big history, but the video we showed you earlier is one of the videos showing some of the work we do in terms of engaging with the United Nations, with the governments, and so on. And I would like here to say the success of WASP is not Allam Ahmed. Yes, you'll see me, you get text from me, I'm annoying you by all my WhatsApp messages, by my email, but it's a huge efforts of people. And I just say one thing today, I can see him this morning, Mervin cleaning up. Mervin is been with us for the last more than 4 years now, but he is the one who is leading in all this video production, which is tend to be the most important items to communicate science and technology. Mervin, if you don't mind me, Mervin, I'm really grateful to see you here as an example. The dedication of people like who work with us here, like example of Mervin, he is currently not well. He caught the COVID. I don't know if he allowed me to say this publicly, but after 3 doses of the vaccine, he still got the COVID. I wasn't even expecting to see him today. Last night I checked on him, he was fine, but I didn't even ask him whether he will be watching us even today. But suddenly I found him and I can see him here. So Mervin, you are a great example of a human being really trying to do very good for everything in this world. And I will just conclude here. The message we have been delivering over the last 20 years is that we should think globally, but act locally. The challenges we have been raising for many years have been just realized during the COP26 in Glasgow in the United Kingdom. Everyone wants to do good for the whole world, but when it comes to actions, countries take national interests first. This is been the case. So I think what my message to the whole world now and to the United Nations is to try to engage, and for the academia is to try to rethink of how we should change that mindset in countries' political leaders. Yes, I would like to do good for my own nation, but you really seriously need to understand. I was very pleased to watch this last night in one of our BBC programs. One of the questions was about, now in the UK, we are taking our 3rd vaccine dose. What about those in Africa? They haven't taken a single dose. And one of the normal citizens in this country said to the minister last night, vaccine minister, is it not better, rather than we have 3 doses, we try to share this huge amount of vaccine we have with those who they have never had vaccine, because he said to the minister last night, in my opinion, the more we protect other people, not just British citizens, is better for us. So you can see the understanding of citizen, normal citizen. Protecting more people across the world is better for the British citizen than just focusing on protecting the British, because we will then travel. I will travel, I will go to countries where they have never had vaccine. So this is a discussion I would like it to happen in the last 1 year. Hopefully next year we might meet face to face after this COVID. Will hopefully our scientists will find a way out of this. But universities, they have a big role to play. This conference, we were aiming to have it face-to-face at Queen Mary University. Thank you very much. We are very grateful to Queen Mary, Professor Farida Fortune from the medical school. She was very much willing to host it, but the issues of traveling, the bans, people from overseas, they have to stay at the airport for 10 days. It became very difficult. But nevertheless, we went back to our last year experience, and we learned a lot from last year. And I'm very pleased to see now, just in front of me, in one of these badges, I can see people from Turkey, from Pakistan, from UK, from Algeria, Sudan, Zimbabwe, Kuwait, Uganda, Algeria, and so on and so on. The list will just go on and on, which is great, which is normally very difficult. So I would like to quickly say what we're aiming to do in this conference. We're aiming to revisit the role of universities or higher education in general, because always do not forget, we are not just talking about universities and their research center, but we're also talking about research center which are not really a university. They also have a critical role to play in solving global problems. One issue academia have started to take it very seriously over the last 2 years, interestingly during the pandemic, is how universities can revisit their curriculum and rebuilding the way they deliver their teaching and research towards achieving the sustainable development goals. And that for me, give me a very positive indicator of one of the very positive happening over the last 2 years of the COVID is that universities now realize they have a critical role to play. Now they can see that this is their responsibility. Some vice chancellor, I talk to them, they say, Allam, it is a responsibility of my university to help my country achieving SDGs, at least in my own country. And here I pay great, if you like, attribute to the work is being done by Ahliya University in Bahrain. I remember they said to me, Allam, we are leading an initiative to help our own government in understanding better and implementing better the SDGs in Bahrain. This is exactly what's the role of universities. And secondly, I'm also pleased to see the sustainable development goals, despite some of the critique, and we're always going to have critique because we are academics. We are very good in critique. This is one of our, if you like, our basic, what we love to do. We critique work. We will never accept work as it is. SDGs have become globally accepted as the route we all have to go through. That means good universities are taking it that way. We need to go through this route. We need SDGs. And the Times higher ranking last year, they issued one, which is, they call it university ranking for SDGs. And interestingly, this is where you can see the beauty of competition among universities. I'm not here just saying because this ranking is the best or it is the correct one, but Manchester University came #1 in the whole world in that particular ranking in terms of SDGs. And when you watch the video with the Vice Chancellor of University of Manchester, I am not from Manchester University, I didn't study there, but I have to say what I can see in front of my eyes. Interestingly, if you look to the university across the world, which is #1 in teaching sustainable development, which is my former university, University of Sussex, did not come first when it comes to SDGs impact. And this is where we, the academic, we need to see. Manchester came first in terms of impact, in terms of helping in understanding and implementing SDGs. And if you watch that video, you can see how they have been doing in all the 17 sustainable development goals. If you compare them to the University of Sussex, also it's a British university, which is #1 in sustainable development studies, you will see the ranking is different. So that means teaching is one thing, impact is another thing. We should really focus on impact, changing people's life. Oxford University, when they found this cure to this, it's not cure, but at least a vaccine, it's a great impact Oxford University did, and I hope we can all do that. Universities, they have to do a lot in social science, economy. We all suffering financially, how universities can do that. And again, we need to work together, new ideas and so on. So I will stop here, but the initiative we launched, I would like just to share it with you for maybe 1 minute, and then I will hand over to Farida. This is, let me just show you this, what we have done here in order to help. We launched this initiative of during the conference, but due to the problem of COVID, we haven't yet officially launched it, but it is already there. But what we have aimed to do here, we call it universities, SDGs universities, where we're trying to bring universities together from across the world and then bring them together in more of see what is happening in the whole world. Not necessarily. Can I ask you kindly to mute everyone? So you can see we're trying to bring universities from all over the world in the same one platform, but not just, as I said, not just bringing them as universities, but we're trying to showcase them. For example, here you can see all universities are having a badge, not just necessarily British or American, but African and so on and so on. And you can see if you choose anyone, for example, I don't know, for example, let's take Erlangga, which is in Indonesia. We try to bring them here with different, we give them a chance to have a description, which is they like to see what SDGs they are focusing on, what SDGs they are very good at, and also how you communicate with them. We give them a chance to also reflect some of the language they do, and then we will bring them together with other universities working in SDG 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, and so on. We also try to bring research centers. So we try to group them, either say in Europe, what are the research centers working very much focusing on SDGs. So we have one here in Cambridge Institute for Sustainability Leadership. You have the coronavirus research at Oxford, science, technology, innovation studies at Edinburgh University, and so on. Not just British, but you also have others, European, American, African, and so on. I'm sure there will be others you will see, for example, Heriot-Watt, Dublin, and so on and so on. But when you go, but more interestingly, we're trying to bring those from countries like Africa. We do have serious work happening in developing countries. Khartoum University, they are leading the world. Yes, this is a good example I will show here. They are leading the world in something called mycetoma research, which is being recognized by the WHO as one of the leading centers on that particular disease. African Climate and Development Institute in South Africa, University of South Africa, Human Rights and Peace Center in Makerere University. And I would like to pay full respect and attribute to the University of, to Makerere University, and particularly the Business School, and particularly very grateful to the work this university has contributed massively in the last several years, in terms of publication, research, and in individuals. I think this conference, we're going to listen to two big projects from Makerere University, plus Professor Joseph Natai has been remarkable. He's a distinguished African researcher working across with all people from across the world all the time. So this is the kind of interaction we like to bring, and so on and so on. There's many universities in Egypt and others and others. I think one of the centers also there is work in Egypt, in Lebanon, is also one of the leading sustainability research work is happening at the, I think the American University in Lebanon. So this is the website, the platform. We're also trying to bring the experts, and again, we classify them. So you can go and find experts in any area you're interested, and then you will see. So I encourage you all, this is available now. So this is our researchers who are working. Again, Professor Andrea Santiago, one of our key members in Philippines. She is a well-respected academics, particularly in management, in organizational behavior. She is a well-established scholar. Seema, you will listen to her, I think today. Professor Seema Joshi from India, and we're trying to bring people also as on a regional basis. And then we have a classification on a country basis, if you like, and so on. Then we try to build partnership with countries, with universities, and so on. And we have many partnerships. We start to build up, for example. This is an established partnership, for example, University Ahliya in Bahrain. We have been there, they have been with us, they hosted us twice. We have done lots of work with them. But the beauty is, in Bahrain, you can see one of the leading policy scholar in the world, who is a Canadian, British. He was the director of the UCL Center for Science Policy. He was in Bahrain delivering a very important talk about government, university, and society, implications of the digital transformation, and so on. And this dialogue is going on. We always feature this as one of our key partnership, because in Bahrain, for example, we have seen a remarkable initiative by the university in terms of young generations trying to make peace among the nation, among different people, not just religious, in terms of trying to combat terrorism, misunderstanding, ethnicity, and so on and so on. This is one of their initiatives, and so on and so on. And we work very closely with the government. And I remember the Prime Minister office have come to us in the conference and said, we are doing what you keep saying, Allam, and we have an office specifically dedicated to SDGs in the Prime Minister office. And I believe the same thing happened in Nigeria. So we also very much looking forward to partnership with any institution in Africa, Middle East, in every place. We have lots of work we're doing with the UN. I wouldn't spend too much on the UN work. It's all available there, but we are very proud and very pleased. The UN has always been with us since 2017. We contributed to many of their United Nations report, but they have come to us. We went to them, different agencies of the UN, all of them we have worked with them, UNDP, Joint Inspection Unit, and I give great appreciation to all the work led by Dr. Petro Dimitriou, the Deputy Chair of the United Nations Joint Inspection Unit. We work with many organizations, including the United Nations universities, that famous conference and work we represented was, and our research in Canada, and so on and so on. And interestingly, this small room you see here in London, this was the start and the kickoff of the United Nations major project and report on policy uptake. So was helped the United Nations when we did that report on policy uptake. And I just show you, I don't know if I can see you this quickly, reports. We contributed to 2017 reports on the public policy, but we were very grateful to be also invited to contribute to the policy and platform in support of learning, the online learning last 2 years. We hosted the workshop. So we are very much open to work and collaborate with governments, agencies. We help UN to get the roundtable in London here in the United Nations International Maritime Organization. And then the report came out, and we were also very grateful the UN acknowledged that even formally in their reports. And we look forward to more collaboration with everyone.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.